What advice do you have for parents to help children build self-esteem? Do you think it's a good idea to keep kids off social media is another question there. Well, yeah. So let me say this. A recent study came out that showed that the later that kids can get on social media, the better it is for their mental health and self-esteem. For our kids, I'm going to do everything I can to keep our kids off social media as long as possible. I mean, I think that, let me say this. I think ideally waiting until high school and then having some pretty strict parameters about usage. And so now, and let me share a little bit of my mindset with this too. You know, I think that trying to say, because maybe there's 1% of parents that will try and do this, say, well, I'm not going to even let my kids on social media in high school. And by the way, that might be fine in work. By the way, there are things that I'm not a complete expert on. I'm just sharing with you the study on the later you wait, typically the better. I think there's an element, though, of being able to expose kids to things that they're definitely going to be exposed to in the world once they get out of your house, let's say to college, to where they're probably then going to get a phone and a social media device. And then you don't have you didn't have the ability to teach them how to use it wisely. It'd be like this. Let me give you an example. So you want to teach your kids how to drive a car, okay? Or your kids are going to drive. There's two ways. There's a couple ways to do this. One, mom and dad, you can teach them how to drive, okay? And mentor them and model them and show them exactly the best way to do it without killing somebody, including themselves. Or you could say, you're just not getting a driver's license till you leave this house. They turn 18, boom, go ahead, start trying to figure out, how to drive. I think they're better off having you, as a mature adult who loves them more than anything, teach them how to use social media wisely. Here's how I would do it with my daughter. Okay, right now. Now listen, maybe it's going to change when she's, in high school, but I would probably wait almost until high school. Okay, let's say then she's freshman year, and Chelsea and I have not talked about this, so I don't know this is exactly how we do it, but off the top of my head. And I would go through and say, hey, Arwen, we can use this for an hour a day. You can follow your friends. And, and then here's some accounts you should follow. I'd encourage you, like, here's how to use social media. It's for learning and growth and staying in touch with your friends. It's not for comparison. It's not for this. If you have any of this, it's not healthy. And here's why. And explain it to her, the why behind who she should follow, what it should be used for, and what it shouldn't be used for, and some of the dangers. And then having time limits set on those things. And then having a time once a month where maybe having discussions about it. So that's the way I think you should use social media. What advice do you have for parents to help children build self-esteem? Well, I think that I think calling out their uniqueness is really important. And then also celebrating character. And so, for example, like with Arwen right now, she is a great swimmer for her age. Okay. She has a lot of good qualities. And so like we'll call out and let her know, Arwen, you did a great job swimming. But more than we don't tend to call out her accomplishments as much as we try and do her character. For instance, like if her and I get in the pool and she's swimming and she goes really harder than she's typically gone, and she's racing me and and she beats me, we'll let her know, hey, great, you worked so hard. Great job. We love it when you work hard. So we'll really celebrate her effort and her work ethic and things that show character when she's being kind to her sister, when she's being generous, when she's sharing with others, those things. We immediately call those things out and praise those things in her. Though that builds self-esteem and confidence. I think a lot of times people think the way to build self-esteem is by saying, you're perfect just the way you are. You can do anything you want in this entire world. That's lying to kids, actually. And you might think, well, it's okay. It's building their confidence. It's actually not, by the way. It's actually making them feel like they have to be perfect. And in that if they're not perfect, then you're going to think ill of them or like they're not adding up, like they're actually have less self-worth. Think about this. If your confidence is based off of you being perfect, you'll never measure up. Versus if your confidence and esteem is built off of something you have control over, which is how hard you're working, how much effort you're putting in. If you're going to share something with another person, you can win that game. Kids can win that game, and that can build their self-esteem. Don't tell kids they're perfect. Don't tell them they can do anything ever they want to do. Tell them Great job for working hard. Great job being generous. Great job being kind to your sister, right? And if they do have a natural gift like swimming or soccer or art or music or whatever it is, let them know, hey, you did a really good job practicing today. I can tell you're getting better. Don't praise their perfection, praise their growth. Let them know, hey, I've seen in you, yesterday, listen, you're not perfect right now. You'll never be perfect, but you went from here yesterday to here today. You could play those notes a little better today. Great job. So you want to praise character, you want to praise growth, and you want to praise just general, along with that character work ethic. If you do those things, your kid's confidence will keep growing and growing and growing. But praise growth, praise character. Don't praise perfection. Next question. How can I teach my kids how to handle rejection as they grow up? Well, the number one way to teach them that is for you to show them how you handle rejection. This is the biggest thing, period. And if you get rejected in some way, maybe you share that with them and say how you handle that. I'll give you an example. I'm not doing this now because my 3-year-old just isn't that conscious of it yet. But when she is, listen, I get rejected constantly on social media. Yeah, I've got a lot of haters and followers. Now I've got a lot more people, just incredible people like yourselves who are incredibly, generous and kind in a number of things. But I could show Arwen on social media, like, for instance, hey, I had somebody who made this comment about me. How should I handle that? And have that conversation. And say, here's how I'm going to handle it. Hey, I'm sorry you feel that way. Hey, I'm praying you're blessed today. And so for you to be able to demonstrate when you experience rejection, how to deal with that and being intentional, not just waiting for her to see it, but actually like almost celebrating it. Like for me, it's like, okay, Arwen's at the age now where, okay, I just got rejected. I'm going to run up to Arwen and be like, Arwen, hey, look at what happened here. Your dad, I was rejected. Here's how I'm going to handle rejection, and here's how you should do it too. It's the best way to show kids how to handle rejection is how you handle rejection. And that's it. I mean, that's, there are TV series too from the past, and it's not like this today where people get rejected and how to handle it. Let me give you another example here too. Jamie Kern-Lima, she just shared an amazing story about how she was rejected with her company, IT Cosmetics. And the way that she handled it was so inspiring. And so what I would do is if you come across something like that, go and share that story with your kid. Like I would sit down with one of my daughters, Arwen or Aylin, in the future with that story once they're able to comprehend it and say, listen to what happened to Jamie. Here's how she handled that. Isn't that amazing? And you praise, again, it's all about with kids. You want to reward and praise those things that you want them to embody. And so, and be that with those kids. It's like, you should have that mindset of, I want to do everything I can to help my kids learn and grow, and use everything in life as a tool for them to learn and grow. And so that's how I would recommend that.